WWE Raw, the 16th of February 2026, Masked Man Seth Rollins brutal attack Paul Heyman and the Vision. WWE Raw 2026. WWE is playing with absolute fire right now, and if they fumble this angle, the backlash will be nuclear. For the third week in a row, a mysterious masked man has destroyed a member of Paul Heyman's Vision faction. First, Austin Theory got his chamber qualifier stolen, then Braun Breaker was attacked before Royal Rumble and eliminated in 11 seconds, and now Logan Paul got curb stomped face first onto the announce table in Memphis while trash-talking Michael Cole. Everyone knows it's Seth Rollins under that mask. The curb stomp is his signature move, is the original Vision leader that Heyman betrayed. An Elimination Chamber is in Seth's hometown of Chicago on the 28th of February, but here's what has me furious. Seth Rollins is still recovering from shoulder surgery and can't wrestle, which means WWE is either using a stand-in like Grayson Waller under the mask, or they are rushing Seth back too early and risking permanent injury. And if WWE drags this mystery out past Chicago, if they don't deliver a legendary payoff, if the reveal flops, the fans will revolt. If you think this Masked Man storyline is brilliant, or if you think WWE is already botching it, drop your opinion in the comments right now, because what I'm about to expose will show you why this angle is either heading for glory or complete disaster. Let me break down exactly what happened in Memphis on the 16th of February, because every detail matters in this story. The show opened with the Usos making their entrance through the crowd, still one of the coolest entrances in wrestling, but before Jimmy and G could even speak, Paul Heyman hijacked the segment from the stage. Standing with him were the depleted remains of the Vision: Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul. Missing? Braun Breaker out indefinitely after hernia surgery from flipping that announce table 2 weeks ago. First trivia question for the comments: Seth Rollins was the original leader of the Vision before Paul Heyman betrayed him. Can you name the exact month and year when Heyman turned on Seth and aligned with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed? Drop your answer below. Logan Paul grabbed the microphone and immediately started flexing on Memphis. He bragged that his wisdom is worth exactly as much as the $16.4 million he made selling a Pokemon trading card the previous night. The crowd absolutely drowned him in boos, and Logan was eating it up. This is Logan Paul at his absolute best, insufferably arrogant, ridiculously wealthy, and loving every second of the hate. Heyman then demanded footage be played to explain his sour mood, and we saw last week's main event where the masked man attacked Austin Theory mid-match, allowing LA Knight to capitalize and steal the Elimination Chamber qualifier. Theory grabbed the mic and sarcastically mocked an originality of doing a masked man gimmick, pointing out that he did it first at War Games back in November. Adam Pearce marched out and tried to restore order, demanding the Vision come to his office to talk like gentlemen, but Theory went ballistic, accusing Pearce of screwing him over. Pearce fired back that his security would have caught the masked man if the Vision hadn't gotten in the way. Heyman then made his bold demand: put Bronson Reed in the Elimination Chamber without qualifying. Pearce shut it down immediately: Reed qualifies next week or he doesn't get in at all. Then LA Knight's music exploded through the arena. The megastar strolled out in his uncosen shirt and absolutely buried the Vision. He said the chickens have come home to roost, Theory's dreams are dashed, and he hopes Reed gets in the chamber so Knight can torture him inside that steel structure. Knight then proposed a 6-man tag himself and the Usos versus the Vision. Pearce asked the Memphis crowd. They erupted in approval, and the match was made. Second question for the comments: the masked man has attacked Austin Theory, Braun Breaker, and now Logan Paul in that specific order. Based on the pattern, who do you think gets attacked next, Bronson Reed or Paul Heyman himself? Give me your prediction. The 6-man tag was absolutely fantastic. Bronson Reed looked like a legitimate monster throughout the match. He drove LA Knight clean through the barricade with a devastating spear then, and this is insane, Reed dove through the ropes and wiped out both Usos at ringside. A man weighing over 300 pounds should not be flying like that. The closing sequence was perfect. Reed hurled G over the announce table, threw Jimmy back into the ring, and set him up for Logan Paul's hard right hand. Paul connected, Reed tagged himself in, and crushed Jimmy with the tsunami splash. 1, 2, 3. The Vision wins. And that's when everything went sideways. Logan Paul, being the ultimate heel, slid over to the commentary desk and yanked the headset right off Michael Cole's head. He started screaming into the microphone, trash-talking Memphis, mocking the Usos, being peak insufferable Logan Paul. And then out of absolute nowhere the masked man appeared from the crowd. Before Logan could even process what was happening, the masked attacker delivered a brutal curb stomp that drove Logan's face straight onto the announce table. The impact was sickening. The crowd exploded. Bronson Reed and Austin Theory immediately gave chase, but the masked man vanished into the Memphis crowd, gone without a trace. leaving Logan Paul laid out cold and the Vision in complete chaos. Third question, Seth Rollins recently said in an interview that his lower body works fine even though his shoulder is injured. Was that Seth basically confirming he's the masked man, or was he just messing with the fans? Drop your interpretation in the comments. Now here's where this story becomes fascinating and frustrating simultaneously. Everyone knows it's supposed to be Seth Rollins. The curb stomp is his signature move that he's used for over a decade. He's the original leader of the Vision before Paul Heyman betrayed him. He has every reason in the world to want revenge. The Elimination Chamber is in Chicago on the 28th of February, Seth's hometown. The storyline writes itself. But here's the massive problem. Seth Rollins suffered a shoulder injury at Crown Jewel 2024 and has been out of action for months. He can't wrestle, he can't take bumps. He literally said in a recent interview that he can't even lift someone over his head right now because of his shoulder. So who is actually under that mask? According to multiple wrestling news sources, WWE flew Grayson Waller to Saudi Arabia specifically to portray the masked man who attacked Bron Breakker at the Royal Rumble. Waller has a similar build to Seth. He can perform the curb stomp, and he's being used as a stand-in while Seth recovers. And this is where WWE is walking the thinnest tightrope imaginable. If Seth Rollins isn't medically cleared to return by Elimination Chamber on the 28th of February, what happens? Does Grayson Waller take off the mask and reveal himself, completely destroying the entire storyline and making fans furious? Does WWE keep the mask on and have the Seth Rollins character get beaten down without revealing the identity, stretching the mystery even longer? Or does Seth miraculously get cleared early, show up in his hometown of Chicago, rip off the mask, and deliver the promo of the year about why he's been systematically destroying the Vision? The worst-case scenario is WWE dragging this out past Elimination Chamber, keeping the mask on for weeks or even months, and by the time Seth is finally cleared to wrestle, the audience has completely stopped caring. That's how you kill a red-hot angle. Delay the payoff until all the heat dies. But if WWE nails this, if Seth gets cleared early, if he unmasks at Elimination Chamber in front of 20,000 screaming Chicago fans, if he cuts a legendary promo about being betrayed by Heyman and systematically destroying everyone who turned on him, this becomes one of the most memorable revenge storylines in years. Backstage after the attack, Adam Pearce encountered the Vision in the hallway. Austin Theory was irate, being physically held back by security. Heyman sent Theory and Logan to the private jet, with Theory hilariously struggling to open the door, and then Bronson Reed stepped forward and delivered one of the most baddest lines of the entire night. "The masked man is a problem. I solve problems. And when I win the Elimination Chamber, that problem is solved." Reed is being positioned as the Vision's enforcer now that Bron Breakker is injured, and honestly Reed has been phenomenal in this role. He's looked like a legitimate monster, and if WWE is pivoting toward Bronson Reed vs Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 42 instead of Bron vs Seth, I'm actually not mad about it. Final question for the comments: when the masked man is finally revealed as Seth Rollins at Elimination Chamber, who should he face at WrestleMania 42? Bronson Reed, Bron Breakker if he's cleared in time, or Paul Heyman in some kind of special stipulation match? Give me your dream scenario. Here's the bigger picture that WWE is methodically building. Seth Rollins was the original leader of the Vision. He personally recruited Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. He had Paul Heyman as his special counsel, and at a critical moment, Heyman betrayed him, Bron and Reed turned on him, and Seth was written off television with a storyline injury. Now Seth is back, or at least someone representing Seth is back, and he's systematically destroying everyone connected to the Vision. First Austin Theory, the newest member, then Bron Breakker, the new leader, and now Logan Paul, the celebrity addition. The only people left standing are Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman himself. This is textbook wrestling storytelling. The betrayed hero returns for revenge. But the execution has to be flawless, the reveal has to be at the perfect moment, and the payoff has to justify months of build-up. Elimination Chamber on the 28th of February in Chicago, Seth Rollins' hometown. If there was ever a perfect moment to reveal Seth as the masked man, it's in front of Chicago fans who will absolutely lose their minds when his music hits. But WWE has a history of fumbling big reveals. They've dragged out mysteries too long, they've delivered anticlimactic payoffs, and if they mess this one up, the backlash will be severe. Smash that like button if you're hyped for the Seth Rollins reveal. Subscribe to Wrestling Zone 1 for the most honest, most in-depth wrestling analysis on YouTube. And drop your takes in the comments. Is it 100% Seth under the mask? Will WWE rush him back too early? Should they use Grayson Waller as a permanent stand-in? Let's get this comment section absolutely fired up, because the 28th of February in Chicago is either going to be legendary or a complete disaster. I'll catch you in the next one.